The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. A week ago, we started off the area series at the Daytona International Speedway, and what a week it was. Week number 2 kept us in the same state down in South Beach, Miami, where the players play, and well, we ride in these cars every day. Race number 3 of the week, race number 2 of the series here for the Florida Estate Builders Area Pro Series. How will it happen? How will it go here in Miami? Let's find out all of those answers. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's coverage. Round number 2, Homestead, Miami. 130 laps here for the Florida Estate Builders Pro Series. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and in the truck, Hunter Sleppy with me, the man, the encyclopedia himself, here to help out. So Hunter, I'm not sure how much you've caught of this week. You were here with me Monday, so you kind of know that much, but it's been a hot, slick week at Homestead, and arguably the toughest cars here for the final race of the week.
Indeed, it's been pretty chaotic. The Cup race started out okay, and then it started to turn into a wreck fest in the end, and then the Truck Series had its fair share of yellows, but don't think we'll see a lot of yellows today. So this is going to be our 6th time in the Pro Series at this circuit. Season 7 was the only season where we had yellows in a race at Homestead. So seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5, they all went caution-free. Season 7, we had 3 yellows, so we don't even average 1 yellow race here. So that is something to keep an eye out for. The green flag runs, it's going to be pretty heavy. Pretty much the same as Monday. You want to be inside the first 2 rows because this is a race that typically tends to go green, so we'll see green flag stops. Some guys came from the back to the front. So that'll be something to keep an eye out for, but this is the most difficult car on the circuit.
Absolutely, and the updates with the new aero package are still being fine-tuned by these drivers. Josh Parrish here. Sebastian Marin going top of the board, 33.93, which I know on Tuesday night we saw over 2 seconds of fall off for these drivers, and we'll see what these Nopes cars can handle here. Garrett Conrath coming through right now. Obviously that timer's looking good, but it'll decay rather quickly, or so I do imagine here. He ended up finishing 3rd, started I think in the mid to low 30s on Tuesday night, drove himself up to a podium finish. See if he can replicate that here tonight.
Yeah, and David Weissart on Monday night, he drove from 41st in the field all the way up to a 3rd place finish, so doesn't matter where you start, matters where you finish, but if you are up front, that typically tends to go in your favor a little bit better.
Absolutely here, especially through the aero, through the crazy racing. I do expect a little bit of pack racing, especially as the tires are fresh, but as they wear out, slipping and sliding all through these multiple lanes here, may be able to make some passes easier. Scioli going to go P4, 34 flat essentially. Who else do we got? This is a lap to watch out for. Brian Mercurio won himself a fair bit of races last season on that coast-to-coast. Very gorgeous paint there. Let's see what he can do here off of 4.
See if he can dethrone Sebastian Marin, who's been the guy to beat all season long. Won't be able to beat him here, 9th fastest, but Sebastian Marin dominated Monday night, but the yellows didn't go in his favor. He was caught up in one of the late race yellows and took him out of contention. We'll see if he can continue his dominating efforts in the Pro Series tonight. Led the most laps at Daytona and went on to win the race, so we'll see if he can hold on to the pole.
Let's see what happens here. Patrioli, you can just see that number 86, What's on Tap Supra, getting all sorts of slideways here, but the lap time, was actually pretty decent. A 10th place starting spot 3 drivers not qualifying thus far. Now, we do have one go or go home driver, and we'll get the confirmation as to who that is. Travis Beckner, Forrest Smith, and Peyton Howell not gridding. Travis Beckner, got a feel for him. That Truck Series race had his name written on it. It got taken away late in the race as he kind of lost some speed. Almost got it back on a green-white checker, but Cole Cabry just straight took it out of his hands here. But we'll see how his race fares here, coming to the end of qualifying, and then a couple minutes of warm-up.
I believe the D&Q for tonight's event is Joseph Swan in the 56 car. He unfortunately did not make it. Steve Durham was the only other open car. He was ahead by about a tenth of a second. He ran a 34.59 to Joseph Swan's 34.63. So unfortunately for Joseph, he will not be making it. And you mentioned a few guys that didn't go out. Peyton Howell's actually the quickest in practice, so I'm kind of shocked they didn't put a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, I think Weishart actually did say in the Truck Series he intentionally chose to start in the back. I mean, this is going to be crazy. If you've caught our other broadcast here this week, or you've just raced at this combination, you know that it is crazy. You can use every lane here at Miami. You know, you can run every lane at most tracks, but here at Miami, you'll rim ride and you'll rip the bottom basically at an equal pace. And when they merge together, especially on the exits of these corners, Hunter, turn 2, it was a trouble spot. It almost looked like there was a chicane on the backstretch with as low as these guys were going to save their cars. Yeah,
it was pretty dreadful on Monday night, too. Some of the guys, they would get loose coming out of the corner, not even touching another car. They would just get loose, and then they're trying to save it, and they're doing all that they can, and it's just too much to corral. And some go spin to the inside, some went spin to the outside, collecting a couple more cars involved, but Turn 4 is also going to be a pretty key spot. Saw a couple wrecks happen over there. This part right here was the big trouble spot for Monday. We just kept wrecking on these restarts after restarts, just going into the corner. Someone couldn't get going. They miss a shift. They spin the tires. But I don't know if we'll see any of that. I do think 2 and 4 will be trouble spots, but not going to be a whole lot of issues tonight, hopefully.
I mean, we do have, I believe, more horsepower than we have, or basically, no, we do have more horsepower. I'm almost positive here in these Nopes cars than we do. Of course, 670 is still the package on the 1.5 in the Cup. So, and then we have the smaller wheelbase, the older bodies, less downforce. So, and remember, we have a 23-year-old track surface here in Miami, so the grip is not going to be there. So we should be getting the countdown any second now to switch over to the race. Usually about 2-3 minutes is what admin gives the call for before they give the bump, but that gives us a chance to thank everyone for tuning in to PTR TV. I believe we're around 20 short of our goal of 2,000 subscribers. So if you have not hit that button, we would just highly, highly appreciate it. And if you're watching on Twitch, again, you can hit that follow and subscribe button over there. For $5 a month, you can get your custom emotes. You can earn your double points and redeem that for some merch. But that will be the end of warm-up, Hunter, and we're about ready to head down for our Central Mobile Home starting lineup.
Indeed, got a lot of faces in here to go through, and some that are really heavy hitters starting up front. Looking at Sebastian Marin on the pole, Philip Groner alongside him in second. He had a pretty good car on Monday. See if that translates into a good run tonight. Garrett Conrath and James Scioli going to start third and fourth in that second row. Jeff Wright, we didn't get to see him at Daytona, but he's back here at Homestead. He's going to start fifth alongside Jake Nichols in sixth. Seventh will be Zach Kerr in the 66 car, Justin Bolton in eighth, looking to get another top 10 to start the season. And Brian Mercurio and Timmy Pacioli round out the top 10.
Going back to 11th, you find John Hall with AJ Stravato, 2 Florida natives there in that row. 13th finds Connor Horn, and then Ryan Housden there in 14th. We go back to 15th with Alex Chilcutt. He was up there on Tuesday night. And Jake Fisher in the number 84 for Coast to Coast. You got Justin Oppliger in 17th, Drew Farnaz in 18th. Rounding out our top 20 is going to be Alan Elwood and David Weishart. He was one to watch there on Monday, pardon me.
Brad Slaughter going to start 21st alongside Jonathan Evans in the 22nd spot. 23rd was Zach Carr. Jeremy Miller, 24th. He had a pretty good run in the first half of Monday's event. Ben Pierce and Sebastian Miller round out 25th and 26th, with 27th being Skylar Shackelford and Lucas Lodato in 28th, with 29th going to Kyle Taub and Diego Sainz in the 64, starting 30th.
Diego Sainz will be at end of line, so he will not start in that spot, but that's where his pit stall will be. Donald Kite in 31st, with another Hunter center in 32nd. Josh Paris 33rd rather. Just Jackson Hartman 34th. Just got all off my marbles here. 35th will find the likes of, we have Gabe Herschel and then Nico Servideo in 36th, and we'll just scroll on through very quickly for the rest. We got Josh Adams, Casey Lakatis, Jared Skinner, Steve Durham, and Joseph Swan, the only DNQ. We have Peyton, Travis, and Forrest gonna round out the caboose here tonight.
This is also one of the only tracks where it has a access road when you come out of pit exit.
Yep, we do have to use it on the exit of the pits. However, you don't need to use it on the entry to the pits. And we did see a couple speeding penalties, I do believe, on the prior races, if I do remember. Our weather conditions here, again, the trend has been a hot Miami. 83 degrees in the air, 126 track temp, and that will likely go up because 130, we're not even at the heat of the day here in Florida, so that may go up into the low 130s. And as if grip hasn't been an issue, that's certainly not going to help causes.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the fall off after 5, 10, 15 laps and then going from there. I think it was about 0.7 of a second through the first 10 to 15 laps on Monday night. But it's going to be even more so in these cars because the tire wear just seems to be a bit more of a drop when you get into the Pro Series cars compared to the next gen.
Exactly, as they wear those tires out, put a little bit more load on them. Those thinner wheelbases, just sliding those tires a little bit more. As I said, the only penalty to report after last week's Daytona season opener, Diego Sainz, he was, I think, qualified 30th or so, but he will head to arrears, which may be a safe thing, maybe a not safe thing. We'll see how it flies, but Sebastian Marin, basically everything he touches this season, Hunter, has been gold. I mean, the final result didn't hold true the other night, but is there any reason to believe that this ain't just going to be a Sebastian Marin special?
I have no reason to believe that it won't be, but I mean, there's still some heavy hitters in the field. It's just you're going to have to be a little more methodical with tire wear and how you maneuver the car in and out of traffic, what lane you want to run, because, I mean, Scioli's up there, Garrett Conrad's up there, Jake Nichols is in the top 10. Some guys will have to come from the back to the front, but that'll be the fun part about this event.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens, because remember, Sebastian didn't win the other day, even though he had the fastest vehicle. Anything can happen. That's why we race to the checkered flag, which in this case is 130 laps away. Florida State Builders Area Pro Series here, round number 2 from Miami. Let's get it rolling. Green, green, green. Hopefully we can get rolling. Groner a little sideways off the get-go, but seems as though everybody's doing all right.
And we'll see him start to fan out 2 and 3 wide here in the turns. We already got one car, 3 wide middle, a couple more towards the rear of the field, but inside the top 10, it's the battle for 7th going on. Zach Kerr, Justin Bourne, Brian McCurry.
Hold on. Philip Groner being issued a black flag here off of the opening restart. Not sure if that's going to stick or not. We'll get some talk. We'll get here from the admin, but he was issued a black flag. I don't know if he fired off a little too early there. We'll see what happens.
That would explain a little bit for the wonky start that he had, but again, we'll get confirmation in a little bit. In the meantime, inside the top 5, got a battle for grabs. Jeff Ryan and Jake Nichols are door-to-door coming out of turn 2. Will be clear enough for that point on. And then behind him, Brian Mercurio looking around the outside. Justin Bolton on the inside with Zach Kerr to his outside.
Yeah, that outside lane, I expect it to work even better the longer we run here. Those tires have grip, so you're going to want to stay in the shortest distance, but I think only a matter of time before those drivers start going to the top. And it also kind of depends on the setup. If a car is a little bit too loose, sometimes it's actually harder to run the top, but some guys in the back trying to prove that thought incorrectly there. Who was that orange vehicle? That's the number 8 of Brad Slaughter. Him running the top, that is no surprise. But very interested to see if that number 11 does have to peel down, and he does.
That's an unfortunate start to the day for Philip Groner, but don't think he'll be a lap down. He'll just be at the tail end of the field, and he'll have to work his way from the back to the front. In the meantime, I shake this up the entire running order. James Scioli up to second, Conrath in third, and then Jake Nichols now up to sixth after Wright and Mercurio moving inside the top spot.
Jake Nichols right behind that number 82 of Mercurio, running that second lane, trying to get some clean air. Looks like these cars are tight. Just taking a gander at what I see, and if that's the case, it may be actually even worse of a tire strategy race, because they'll be sliding those tires even further. Now, I'm hoping with everything in my system there, Hunter, that this is a glitch and that Groner did not speed on his penalty stop, because he's still registered as a black flag right now. Hopefully that clears and that's not just a scoring thing.
Told it was a stop and go because it was possibly a restart violation, and that is something that cannot be cleared. But
he already served it. He served it, and it's still not cleared, so he may have to come back in, which is just, I mean, he's a lap. He is on the lead lap, as you said, but that would certainly put him a lap down. So we'll keep an eye on that catastrophic day to the start to the day for the 11.
In the meantime, Barron continuing to lead the way through the first 5 laps of this run, which, looking at the fall off, we're already seeing about 0.3, maybe half a second in some realm, but just a little bit of fall off. We'll see what the next 5 laps have in store for us. In the meantime, top 10 positions are solidified at the moment. This is the 77 to 84, AJ Stravado, Jake Fisher just outside the top 10.
Yep, they are battling. You can see that bright orange car of Jake Fisher taking a look to the inside of Offlinger, but not to be had. It does seem that we're seeing less multi-groove than we've seen in the prior races this week. Now, that's going to be of interest to see if that sustains, but everyone's seeming to use that inside as the preferred groove. Of course, that's going to be aero push, but again, it could be a fixed setup thing. Maybe that setup just doesn't like running up the wall. We'll see how things progress later in the event.
I need some side-by-side action towards the rear, but it's mostly single file at the moment.
Well, do have an update on the 11. So he has already taken it behind the wall, but he had a drive-through penalty apparently, and he actually did stop in his pit stall, which doing that iRacing, it wanted a drive-through penalty. It didn't want a stop and go, so it said, nope, you still have a black flag, and unfortunately for him, he decided to take it behind the wall.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about racing at Homestead, especially in the Pro Series. We don't get a lot of yellows, and if you have a couple mistakes this early in the going, it basically takes yourself out of contention, unfortunately. So probably see him next week at Las Vegas. In the meantime, Alan Elwood up to 17th. So up a couple spots since the start of this one.
We're also getting a little bit further insight here. Jacob giving us the Larry Mack here of the day as Jeremy Miller trying to do the rim ride there and kind of popped off the wall there. What's going on up front? Mercurio very low on the racetrack. He's low because they're 3 wide. Conrath and Jeff Wright. Again, everyone fighting for the bottom of the racetrack. And is he clear of Conrath? I do believe he is. Setting the sight on Jeff Wright, who's not too far in the distance.
Yeah, this is the first laps of the season that Jeff Wright has turned. He missed Daytona. Already doing a good job running in the podium spot, but in the meantime, Brian Mercurio up to 4th. Jake Nichols up on the outside lane. He's got a nice run. He'll look to the inside of Conrath for 5th and try to clear it. Going into 3, he's actually going to be under Mercurio as well.
That is a tight quarter situation there. And nearly a little contact. That's why we couldn't really see what was going on, because he was so close to that 82. And luckily that there was no contact made or aero issues presented here, but up front, 0.8 of a second out, and it looks as though lap time-wise, Scioli not that much slower, but any amount slower is still going to make a gap bigger. Let's see, about 0.5 tenth, but if you're a 0.5 tenth slower every lap, that is going to start building to a tangible lead as we see.
Yeah, looking here at lap 12 of the run. Sebastian Marin already almost a second of fall off from his time. Almost a second from Scioli. About a second from Jeff Ryan. We're getting new lap times now. Marin ran a 34.3 as his fastest lap. His last lap, 35.3. So we're already seeing 1 second of fall off in lap times amongst the field.
Yes, there's a good high-low crossover elevator move there. Mercurio got the run off the top and then took it to the bottom. Drives underneath Jeff Wright. And remember, Jeff Wright, I mean, I'm pushing my memory farther than I usually do, but he was nearly the champion last season in the Florida State Builders Pro Series. Had that amazing finish with Sebastian Marin. Marin just got him by a whisker at the stripe, or else that championship would have been his in that Final Four format. That's no longer applicable, but 73 of Jake Nichols, ring around the rosy up top, and there's the run. That might be the move.
He'll have a run to the inside of Jeff Wright for the 4th spot at the moment, but we'll have to see if the fall off is going to be more significant if you're ripping the top and then cutting it back to the bottom, but he's trying to make it work. Currently inside the top 5 boundary position, and then right behind him, Pacioli and Justin Bolton are duking it out for 8th.
Pacioli, the run in the top, and then you see Bolton running side by side a little bit further ahead of that. Actually, I'm not even going to worry about what's ahead of that because there's a lot going on behind. Chilcutt and John Hall there in that Yarn Hub car. And I do like those chrome numbers there. Looks pretty nice. That's not pretty nice because he's having connectivity issues, which in this height of a pack certainly is something to raise some concern. But something that won't raise concern is racing in Hendry County Motorsports Park. They'll be back on April 4th for the Mod Lights V8 Warriors and more. Tickets $20 for adults, discounts for seniors, teens, and kids age 5 and under get in free. Come see them at HenryRacing.com, southernmost dirt track in Clewiston off Highway US 27.
Yeah, and the 27 of Beckner's up to 29th after the start of this one. And mentioned he and Peyton Howell, they elected not to do a lap in qualifying and start from the back. Peyton Howell's up to 19th after 15 laps of racing.
Yeah, that is good, and that's the comers and goers that you see at Homestead in this style of racing. It really puts the driver's hands at play there. You saw that's Connor Horn. That was a low-high move if I've ever seen one. But Hunter, something, and this is up your alley here as Jake Nichols getting by Mercurio. Pit strategy. Our Larry Mack hats, they're going to get exhausted if this thing stays green as the trend situates. With this amount of fall off, with how long a fuel stint goes, with how many sets of tires we have, I really think if we stay green 10 to 15 laps from it, I think we're going to start seeing strategic pit stops to try to get that undercut. Homestead is known for it.
Yeah, right around lap 30 to 40, we'll see these guys come in and make green flag pit stops. If you want to try and undercut, you could go at lap 30. Most of the people, they'll try to make it to lap 40 or 35, wherever there's a good enough distance to split into thirds rather than fourths.
And you just have to wait and see how the cautions play out if they do, and do that calculation on how much time lost versus how much time gained. It's super fun. We saw it on Tuesday night in the truck series before the cautions came out. So we're setting up for it, but again, we'll never quite know until the situation arises. Getting a little insight from our YouTube chat. Travis Beckner, as we were just talking about Hendry County, the reason he started in the back was he butchered his qualifying laps. He put it in the fence, and of course he put it in the fence. That lap does not count, so that's why he's having to do that pseudo last to first challenge. But as you said, he has worked up 14 spots, which is pretty commendable here in 20 laps.
That picture is an accurate look of his face after qualifying, just in disgust, having to go from the back to the front. So the 27 27's trying to go up to the 27th spot, but he'll be door-to-door coming out of turn 2. I think, no, actually, no, he'll get in line behind Gabe Herschel.
Yes, he will. And then just ahead of that, Lucas Lodato there, and Skylar Shackelford just ahead of that. And then you have David Weishart, where he started the Cup race basically last, worked his way all the way up, fell to the back, and just basically, I would love to see the passing statistics from his race on Monday, because he had to have set a record with how many times he went up and down the field, but has some work to do. 22nd here, looking underneath Jeremy Miller, who had an interesting day on Tuesday, but didn't end up going the way he would desire it to go. But this is a good battle here. 20 laps in, going back up front, Sebastian Mayer. Don't want to forget about the leader. He has now hit the 1 second mark over Scioli.
Yeah, lap times have been creeping up towards the 36-second mark. 35.9 last time from Mayer, 35.88 from James Scioli. So we're creeping towards over a second of fall off. For Sebastian Mayer himself, a second and a half of fall off.
Second and a half. Again, we hit over 2 seconds in the trucks. We'll see. It seems like we're on pace for that. Here's Chilcutt right to the back bumper of Pacioli there. I'm actually shocked Pacioli didn't get loose just because of how we've been seeing the aero situation happen. One thing I do want to do is do a Whiplash SimCams onboard, and who's going to be the lucky duck? I didn't actually plan to say that. I suppose I should pick a lucky duck. Give me a lucky duck.
Jake Nichols.
All right, let's go with Jake Nichols, and let's go see his Whiplash SimCams telemetry and see really how slow they're going here at Homestead Miami Speedway relative for a mile and a half. We're going to get up to speed here. Down the front straightaway, got a mile and a half track, multi-groove, progressively banked, peaking at about 175. And now here's the best part of all. That's, what, 55 miles an hour of pace loss through the center of the corner. That's why we're seeing so much passing here. It's because you're actually off the throttle and driving the car. Would you ever believe it?
Yeah. It's a beautiful sight to see. Nichols closing in on James Scioli, or trying to. Mercurio and Kerr round up the top 5, and then 6 on back. It's starting to get interesting. I mean, it has been interesting, but you got John Holm, Jeff Wright, close nose and tail, and then right around the 10th place position. Bolton and Pacioli actually in the wall. Chilcutt, Connor Horn making his way through on the outside lane. It's starting to get dicey up here.
Yeah, Connor had a little bit of a run off of 2, but the gap was shut. He did back off respectfully there. Didn't squeeze the gap there on Chilcutt. Now he's going to try that high lane. If it's going to work, you know, he wants his name on it first. Not going all the way to the top, running about 2/3 up, and then he has a really good run on exit. And he'll take it to the inside. I don't know if he has enough to make it stick. And now he's going to have Stravato there to kind of put some dirty air on the nose.
Yeah, Jake Fisher joined this group as well. This is 10th to 14th in that little gaggle of cars right there that are door to door.
It's Alan Elwood with a big slide off of 2.
Yeah, Elwood on the 5, he's been making up some ground as well. He's up 4 spots since the start of this one, but not too far behind him. Peyton Howell, 24 spots gained since the start of this one.
And that is a statistic for you. Remember, he didn't technically qualify for a lap there, plus 24 on the day. You were a basketball player, and plus 24 was your stat. You probably get yourself a fat contract, and I don't know if that 5 is going to be getting a fat contract right now. Alan Elwood getting loose, then he's into the wall the following lap. That 5 starting to struggle, but luckily for you, Alan, you're not the only one.
No, there's a lot of guys that are struggling, trying to keep up with it. Ryan Housden in 47. I think he's down 9 spots since the start of this one. Sebastian Miller down 10. Ben Pierce down 14. Jonathan Evans down 20 spots. He actually had an incident, but he is 6 laps down at the moment.
Yeah, if I can find a back-end trigger as to what maybe happened to him, we'll pull it up on our Hendry County replays here. In fact, I may have something. I don't want to promise that it is something, but I think it was just connection issues, it appears. couple triggers for him that amounted to nothing. So he's just having, looks like, some iRacing issues, or netcode issues, but hopefully those fizzle out. Mercurio and Nichols. Now, Nichols did get by, but Mercurio getting back by again and getting some back end that he has worked on his long run pace. Now, the sad thing for him is if he did work on his long run pace, he gave up 3 seconds in the process, and I don't know if Sebastian's going to give those up.
No, it's going to be challenging trying to do that. Looking at the top 10 lap times last time through, Sebastian Marin was the fastest, but we'll see this time through. 36.2 for Sebastian Marin, 36.3 for Scioli, Mercurio, Jake Nichols, 36.6. And once again, inside the top 10, that was Marin with the fastest time.
Now, I'm going to hope he does it. Now, Homestead, it looks, you look at a track map here at Miami, it looks symmetrical. It's not. 3 and 4 drives completely differently than 1 and 2. I couldn't tell you why. And of course, it is a laser scan version, but Mercurio did an interesting line in 1 and 2, and I want to see if he'll replicate it. He probably won't because it's commentator's curse. But instead of wrapping the bottom or wrapping the fence, you go right to the bottom of the track, and then you basically just let the car slide all the way up to the wall and then ride the wall off the corner. It's a line that I've never seen at any other track, but it seems to be the popular thing here at Miami.
At least this weekend it has been. Seen a lot more guys trying to do that, but saw Connor Horner, it worked well for him. He's close to the top 10, but sitting right there in the 12th spot. Behind him, though, Peyton Howell, again in the 52 car, up 28 positions since the start of this race.
Now, this is the kind of situation where you kind of hope that, is Connor Horn struggling? And again, here's that low-high move that everyone is kind of patenting right now, but this is the kind of race that you hope for cautions if you're Peyton Howell or some of the other drivers, Beckner, who started low in the field, work your way up. Because if you start in the back, doesn't matter how fast you are, you could drive yourself to a certain point, but he might have winning pace, but he's going to need a reset to be able to show it.
Yeah, he is 7.5 seconds back from the race leader, Sebastian Marin. We got guys coming down pit road, or a handful of guys. Skylar Shackelford was one of them, but this is going to open the door for green flag pit stops to begin.
Jeremy Miller, David Weishart. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be 4 tires of fuel, lap 33. So if we extrapolate that out, 66.99, that would be a 31 lap run to the end. So that's, I mean, you can't really evenly do fourths here with this lap count, but that's as close to it as you can go. If you want to do thirds, you math heads out there, do 130 divided by 3. And I'm sure it's probably like, 37, 38, something like that.
It might be more than that.
I never claimed to be a math scholar. I do have a degree, but about 7 years old, and that was before ChatGPT existed.
I think it's probably around 44 laps.
Awkward stalling.
God bless. That was Alan Elwood, and he's coming down pit road. 32. He almost got into, what was that, Justin Opplinger there.
Yes, he did. 43.3. So, yeah, there goes the Corey Silva calculations. Not going to be getting myself a job in that field anytime soon in accounting. So, yeah, would that mean that these other drivers are going to want to go 43? Because as we've seen, for every lap, let's pull up Sebastian, his telemetry, his live, he's down exactly 2 seconds. So for every lap that he stays out, it's 2 seconds of a variance. That builds up. And you have to do that math over the course of a whole race. And luckily, we don't have to do that. They do.
Yeah. The only thing that'll help, though, is that the longer you stay out, that means the better your tires will be for the longer run. Even though it will be a significant fall off from your fastest time, but it'll be an advantage nonetheless, especially if he waits like 10 laps after the first car pits.
The worst thing you can do is split the difference and kind of not really pick a strategy either way. That tends to be something that a lot of drivers do. it's very daunting when you're running this pace, and then you see one of those fresh tire guys just zoom on by you like you're standing still, and then you just kind of panic. You question whether your strategy is working or not, and then you just bail. So you have to really commit to your strategy. Speaking of this, right here we go. David Weishart, he's Superman right now. There's AJ Stravato. He ain't Superman, blowing by like he ain't even moving.
Yeah, him and the 60, they are moving and grooving through the field here. It's like they're on easy mode, and he had to check up there because he was going to get into the 67 to come horn, but making the most of his new tires early on.
Absolutely. So we'll see with 5 more laps to see what happens. And again, where we are in South Florida, there is a product that that helps sponsor this league that's made in South Florida. Rick's Hot Sauce. It gives you the best hot sauces in South Florida. Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Beach Heat. And of course, on Mondays, they will sponsor the Rookie of the Year battle over there. Rookie of the Year will get $100 on behalf of Rick's Hot Sauce, rickshotsauce.com. There's Chilcutt going by. Chilcutt is on fresh tires. Right now, Jeremy Miller is 1 lap down. He's the free pass recipient. And, the number one thing that is important is he's in the middle of the backstretch, and there's Marin in 3. So Miller is going to be on a mission to get that lap back, because it's better to be on the lead lap than it is to have to go through all the lucky dog hoopla. But it does seem like everyone's doing that, Hunter. They're not splitting the gap. I expect 42, 43, 44, 45. I expect those to be the money stops for everybody else.
Yeah, right now Miller is the fastest of those, or the highest up on the leaderboard, I should say, of those that have come down and pitted, which is around the 30th position. But yeah, Marin's still pulling away with 2.5 seconds, just about over James Scioli, then about 1.3 separating him and Brian Mercurio. Zach Kerr and John Hall have rounded out the top 5.
They are still in very close proximity to each other there, as again, some fresh tire guys just driving off. That's Shackelford in that green 609 car just pulling away ahead, and Weishart slicing his way through. But again, as you look off turn 4, you're going to see some 3 wide. Do see one peel in there. That's going to be Travis Beckner now, and that's not ideal. And who's that coming in right behind? Oh, he had the first pits. Yeah, he had the first pit stall there, and Travis, sorry, we gotta show it.
Well, he might have been speeding coming into pit road.
Well, luckily for him, and I don't think I've ever got definitive feedback on this, but I do believe iRacing does use the segments and the time over distance strategy. So where he is all in segment 1, even if he was speeding, since he stopped there, I think that'll give him the okay. I don't see a black flag on the board, but we'll keep an eye on that. But here comes a flurry of activity in the pits. There's Stravato, there's Horn. Who else do we got in the pits right now? We got Justin Bolton in. Still waiting on our leaders, though.
Jake Nichols coming out. Sebastian Marin staying out. Him, Skyler, Mercurio, Kerr, and Hall. Top 5 haven't changed. Everybody else coming in. Justin Opplinger is in at the moment.
Now, one thing I'm surprised about, and I guess we'll see, Scioli 2.5 seconds back. If you want to have any chance, you want to draw first blood before Sebastian does. You can see Sebastian on the top of the track, so he's not coming this time by. And this is that lap 43. This is the even split for a 3-stop race. And he's going to stay on the track. The worst case scenario is that he pits after Sebastian, but I think he has enough of a gap that he could probably call the audible and pit at the same time as him.
Yeah, indeed, trying to match that up, line it up. Some more heavy hitters coming down pit road.
So Jared Skinner and Donald Kite coming in. They were in the mid-20s or mid-25, somewhere in that ballpark. Obviously, the line is quite shuffled now. We'll pull up our stints on the ticker so you can kind of get an idea of where we stand. And the top 15 still out on the raceway. First driver in the lineup on fresh tires is going to be Jeremy Miller, and his tires are already 11 laps old. Remember, I think he's on that 4-stop race, pitting around lap 30, 32. And we'll see how that works out. But again, the trend continues, Hunter. I was very skeptical when you said, yeah, it's a green flag race. This car always runs green. I'm like, did you watch the races this week? But trend don't lie, evidently.
I didn't lie about the other trends either. They have more than one yellow average to race. They have about 5, 6, or 7, but this one, it was 0.4 yellows per race in the 5 seasons we've been doing this. Now the 6th trip to Homestead, Miami.
There's your fellow Hunter here, Hunter Senior. Is that Dad?
What?
Is that Dad? Yeah, Hunter Senior? There is a Hunter Senior in this race. So
no. There'd be a junior next to my name.
I don't. That just might be a running gag. Just have to call him Dad. But Drew got to peel it on in there, bros. If he does get it in through the pits there. This is not an easy pit. As I said, they peel right off of turn 4. As we've said, you don't necessarily have to use that access road. That was an update that iRacing did a couple of years ago to emulate real world. But Sebastian, you know what he's doing. What's one?
He's just staying out.
So what's a 2-stop race? I don't think we calculated that. We've calculated a 4-stop.
That would be probably 55.
No,
50, really.
No, so 3-stop and 2-stop, that's what we're at right now, isn't it? Yeah, 3-stop and 2-stop. I don't think they can make it to 65 for a 1-stop.
No. You lose too much time at that point to even make it up.
And you'd actually probably risk having a black flag for popping a tire there. Gap 2.5 seconds back to Scioli, and we'll pull up the battle tracker so you can get an inkling of the lap time difference, and 10.5, which you'd say a 10.5 isn't a lot, but a 10.5 or a 10th times 49, that becomes a large number here, getting to the outside of Casey Lakatos there, or we haven't said it all season, Casey Lakatos. Yeah, I had to do it once. Had to do it once. Here's Peyton Howell in. Remember, he was one of those hard chargers.
John Hall and Jeff Wright in as well.
Peeling on in here. So again, here comes Sebastian. 49. John Hall being shown a black flag here, showing up on the ticker. You can see the black flag next to his name, so penalty assessed to the number 24. Scioli staying out, and that's Lucas Lodoto behind him, getting all up in his business there, and that's going to hurt Scioli even more, because if he had intent to pit this lap, he ain't going to be able to unless he really pulls a hard left, which he does.
Had lap car to the inside and outside. You don't usually see 3 wide middle when you're the leader. Mercurio coming in.
Mercurio hurried it in there. Steph hurried from deep, sent it on in to try to gain some time. And no black flag next to his name, so he executed that perfectly. But again, someone who did not execute it perfectly, 24 John Hall serving a black flag.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, top 10 run going. It's going to open the door for more guys to put their machines inside the top 10, try to get a top 10 finish. Meanwhile, this is Zach Curry slowing down, coming on the pit road this time through.
Now, here's what I'm wondering, Hunter. Again, we put our Larry Mack hats on. This puts you in a boat where what do you want to do with your next stop? Because you're so far in at this point. Do you want a short pit around lap 90, or do you want to run this to, post 100 and have the shortest possible stint to the end, knowing that you might be costing yourself time? It's kind of an interesting dilemma that I don't really have an answer
to. Could even try to do 75 to 80 if you really want to, and then go between 110 to 115, so you still have some laps left, because you don't want to leave yourself for the very end. You don't want to leave yourself not enough laps to where you know you have a good car, you're passing people, but you don't have enough laps to do so because of your strategy call. But it's the fine line of trying to do green flag pit stops with no yellows whatsoever.
Yep, and we'll hopefully not jinx that, but as we await for the cycle to continue, who's left? And so now we're in a position where all of those drivers who pitted very, very early in the sequence now have the lead. Chilcutt, 18 laps ago, he pit 53 minus 18. What's that, like 35 or something like that? Math is not my forte. Oh, yeah, I did something right. But 7 seconds back is Marin here, and he has 8 drivers to pass. Last time by from Marin, let's just pull up the lap times, and you can see the difference between, 18 lap tires. 34.7 for Marin, 36.1 for Chilcutt.
Yeah, so he'll get there in a few laps.
Yeah, absolutely, but they're already going to be 35, so 15 laps or so from their next pit stop if they're doing that 3-stopper, or do they have to call the audible and stretch it into a 2? I mean, these are all the dilemmas that you have here. And if your pool or your backyard is having a dilemma, then you might want to reach out to Blue Tip Pool Builders. You can bring the party to your backyard this summer with Blue Tip Pool Builders. Customize your pool to fit any style or aesthetic. They have skilled craftsmanship with high cutting edge technology to bring your pool to life. I struggle with that line. And if you don't have room for a pool, they can do your outdoor as well. They can do your backyard with dynamic lounging, kitchens, and more. Blue Tip Pool Builders. I gotta slightly tweak that ad a little bit. A couple of sentences in there get me, but the company does great work. Check them out. And here is Marin in a myriad of traffic that he should eradicate pretty quickly.
Yeah, going inside of Connor Horn. Going to move him up to the 6th position. Connor Horn down to 7th. Weishart trying to close the ground and move himself up to the 8th position. But in the meantime, Jake Nichols is actually taking over as the race leader.
Weishart, older tires and trying to persevere through. And they got 4 sets of tires in the pits to play with here. As there is Adams getting his lap back. Getting a lap back. But I just completely lost my chain of thought. Oh, yeah, so we have 4 sets of tires to play with here. So everyone's used one. Some drivers are going to be using an extra one via their strategies. But, if we get a caution, right now, if you get a caution right now, so many drivers would be happy because it would be a reset. But, again, if you look through the field, there's a lot of separation, Hunter. And I haven't gotten any inklings to the setup here. Maybe Jacob can provide it to us on our back end, but it doesn't seem like we have a loose setup. We haven't seen really any self-spins or anything close to a self-spin. So I feel like the only cautions we're going to have are going to be some form of contact.
Yeah, and I mean, rarely we have that. In last season's race, we had that 3 times, 3 yellows, but the last yellow came out with 15 to go, so there's... You never really say never on a yellow not coming out, but Homestead you kind of do. Although, like I mentioned, after season 7, I think anything goes. But it's pretty much back to the basics here. We're almost 60 laps in the race. No yellow flags just yet, but Sebastian Marin, again, is the guy to beat. And you mentioned about different strategies if you want to default from your...
Call an audible, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. Jeremy Miller is 37th in points, so I think he needs to stick to this one because he's got to worry about getting inside the top 16 in points, where he mentioned it Tuesday night for the trucks, how he won at Daytona, but he doesn't lock himself into the playoffs. He's got to be consistent. He's got to be fast. You actually need to be 12th. Top 12 get locked in. So calls like this could put yourself in a better spot.
And of course, we don't have standard playoffs emulating the real world. We have a chase this year, and we encompass 5 races in the chase. Chicagoland, Bristol, Charlotte, Richmond, and Auto Club. So a good mix of intermediates and short tracks. So having some luck here, could loosely be applicable at Chicagoland. So Of course, good to see Chicago Lane back on the schedule. Will be interesting to see what happens to that track by the time we get there in July. iRacing may have an update to us, and it may even be slicker than it is now. We'll see how they treat it. But right now, Sebastian Mayer not treating Justin Bolton with too much kindness, as he's going to pass him there, move up to P2. And now he is only 1 second behind Jake Nichols, and he has 8-lap fresher tires. So that purple, or magenta, whatever you want to call it, that 73 should be in short order.
It's just inevitable. I mean, it might be 1 lap, might be 2 laps, but we're about close on the window for those who want to do a 4-stop strategy.
I think a 3-stop. I think you trusted my math too hard on that.
Well, 1 more stop wouldn't hurt nobody.
Hey, it could be under caution.
Why not?
But we're going to take this opportunity here. While I don't think we're going to have pit stops for about the next 2 or 3 minutes, we're close enough to halfway. We're just going to take a brief little side-by-side, and we'll be back with you in a jiff, so stay with us. And we're back here after a brief break here. Round number 2 of the Florida State Pro Builders Pro Series here at Homestead, Miami for 130 laps. Pit stops for round number 2 are underway right now. Myself, Corey Silva in the booth, and in the truck, Hunter Sleppy, obviously with me as he is every Thursday. But clean and green, Hunter. We have a myriad of strategies going on, and some of them are being implemented right now. Here's Jeremy Miller back here.
Yeah, I mentioned that he needs to stick to his strategy. Looking like he's pitting every 30 laps or so, 33 laps. We'll see what his next pit stop is, but he's deep in the points, so he needs to have good, consistent runs to get himself in a pretty good spot.
Skylar Shackelford here. Now, we have had few drivers have issues this race with the black flags. Of course, Philip Groner had a black flag right off the opening jump, not related to pit road, but I know John Hall and I think 1 or 2 others may have had some pit road issues here today. Travis Beckner on a black flag, but had that spin in the pits that kind of eradicated some of the track position he gained over the course of the race. But we are past the halfway point, and again, some of the other partners here with Area. Shop.areairacing.com. You can visit that website for high-quality merch at low prices. They have a new selection of t-shirts, hats, Adidas clothing, and other Area accessories. Hot, fresh off the presses with their new studio temporary rebrand. Stuff is looking sweet, and you can grab it. Shop.areairacing.com. Jeremy Miller going by on the outside is slaloming through on those fresh tires in almost 2 seconds faster comparatively. You have Zach Kerr in 7th, wrist ahead. And then you have Sebastian Marin up front. He is already down 1.7 seconds on the stopwatch in his stint, which is 20 laps.
Just another masterclass job at the moment for Sebastian Marin. Looking like he's on pace to lead the most laps again. Justin Bolton is doing pretty good as well. Mentioned him. He finishes in the top 10 a lot. He finished top 10 at Daytona, and he's running 3rd. Him and Nichols are on a similar strategy where they pitted earlier than Sebastian Marin. Jeff Wright in the 48, looking to get around Connor Horn for the 8th spot. He missed Daytona last week, but he's here tonight. He's running inside the top 10. He's had a pretty solid run. Up in front of them, though, Alex Chilcutt and Zach Kerr duking it out for the 6th position and the 60 and the 66.
A lot of 6s there in the frame, and it looks as though the 66 will clear there and getting into P6. Brian Mercurio running in 5th. He's kind of in his own little bubble, 2 seconds at arrears and about a second in front. James Scioli there, and Scioli was in 2nd, about 2.5 seconds behind Sebastian Marin. However, the pit cycle has has him in 4th. There are still Jake Nichols and Justin Bolton ahead of him, and those drivers, even though they're on older tires, he's not eating into those gaps as quickly as I would have anticipated.
No, not nearly enough to significantly close the gap at all, but having a pretty solid run.
Well,
close to Bolton for 3rd.
And Bolton, again, we'll put up our stints again because we've already had some drivers in, and now we have more. We have David Weishart again. Now, for many drivers, this is their 2nd stop, and they will probably make another pit stop around lap. Never mind.
Okay. Oh, we got a yellow.
Yeah, and it was
a rare yellow at Homestead.
It was off of turn 4. So we'll just, because there was drivers in the pits, it's a little hard to figure out who it was, but we will certainly try to figure out something here. Who was the stranger off of turn 4 here? That was the 26 car. Jonathan Evans.
Oh, wow.
See what happened to Jonathan here. Again, self-spin's not really common with the setup we have here. Didn't hit the apron. Oh, Jeremy Miller.
Wow.
Coming through on those fresh tires. There you go. Not a self-spin.
Well, that will shake things up entirely. We'll have to actually have to see who was on the lead lap and who wasn't.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a hot mess when it comes to figuring out who is where on the stopwatch. But Sebastian in right now, as is everybody else, and I'm sure a couple drivers will be tail end of the lead lap and all of that fun stuff. But as it stands right now, I think we have still the vast majority of these drivers on the lead lap. Sebastian will lead things through and head back on the racetrack. 4 tires and fuel. And the trend was 0.4 caution, so immediately we are already above trend.
Yeah, that's a good one to pull out. Marin, Nichols, Bolton, Mercurio, and Scioli now. This is a big win, I'd say, for Nichols and Bolton. They were about 8 to 7 laps off of the first pit stop from Sebastian Marin, so they had worse tires than Marin. But now this yellow brings them all together, and especially Justin Bolton too, in the 41, looking to have a solid run. Last season it was a matter of whether he'd finish 4th or not. He finished 4th a lot. So he would be up front always, but couldn't do a full schedule. But We're hoping he does a full schedule this time around because I think he could put up a pretty good fight to Jake Nichols and Sebastian Marin.
Now, all these drivers on shot right now, these are all wave around cars. We just got the 1 to green call from Barney. So there's the pace car. Everyone you just saw scroll on by, they are trying to catch back up. They already pitted, and they are going to get their laps back. But the negative part for them is they're going to get their laps back. They're going to be tail end of the lead lap, but they're also going to have, well, 2, 3, 4 lap older tires than everybody else. So that's a slight disadvantage. Everybody else, now we're on even playing field for the first time since lap 1. Now, is Sebastian Marin still going to drive off into the sunset? Or, Mercurio's there. Bolton, Nichols. Let's see if someone can compete.
Well, across the stripe, it'll be 55 laps to go. Sebastian Marin has dominated this one. He'll be restarting as the leader on the inside lane. Nichols to the outside. We'll see if the outside lane can go on the restarts. It's been a problem all week. Marin will lead us back to green.
And thus far, everyone's... Don't really see the wheel spin issues that we've seen in prior weeks, but Marin getting the whole shot, getting himself the ideal shot into turn 1 and 2. Nichols in the middle, having a battle with Bolton down to the inside, and that will just further allow Marin to get a gap here off the opening restart.
Nichols will be clear enough for the time being for second. Turns into a battle for the podium paying position now. Mercurio on the outside. Bolton going to fall back to fourth. Kerr trying to get around on the outside. Little jockey for position coming out of turn 4. Lots of side-by-side action inside the top 10. And Howell has also jumped inside the top 10. I mentioned biggest mover of the race. That caution helped him out significantly, up 35 positions since the start of the race. 35 positions is absolutely nuts here. And something else that's nuts is I thought I was going to see 3 wide a little bit further back here. That's a 77, AJ Stravato. 96 of Justin Opplinger in the middle, and that was Conrath to the outside there. But I think we've slightly eradicated that down to 2 wide. Someone in the back, that green and black car, into the wall. I think that was Dad. That was Hunter Sr. scraping the fence. He scraped it, kept it going. Conrath right there. Garrett Conrath was looking to have a massive run on the exit too, and he's looking to get around Chilcutt for that 10th position, and up in front of him, they're almost 3 wide for position. Connor Horn and Jeff Wright there. Jeff Wright on the bumper of James Skyler, 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack.
And he's going to drive it on in there. Maybe wasn't fully there, but drove it on in. Will it stick? Scioli on that slightly more banked middle groove, and that should allow him to get enough of a run off the corner. Yes, it does. As still having someone with connection issues there, middle of the pack, but going back up front, we'll say, and Brian Mercurio did get second, and last time by, he was a 10th and a half faster than Sebastian Marin. First time that Marin has really seen any competition. And let's see, we heard Mercurio's good on the long run. Now he doesn't have a gap to deal with.
Just keeping it glued to that bottom, trying to get as much clean air as he can. Marin run a little bit higher as you go from 1 to 2.
I can tell that Mercurio's entering a lot shallower. Marin seems to be diving it in a little bit deeper, at least it appears anyways. Now that could be what Mercurio is looking for on the long run, but what if Marin's doing that lap after lap? Maybe it shows you can drive it in deeper and get away with it.
Yeah, in the meantime, it's conga line for the first 5 positions. I would say 6, but Connor Horn looking to get around Peyton Howell. He's just going to give him a bump. He had a nice run coming out, too, but we'll decide to use that at a later date.
Wow, look at that.
He's actually going to use it now.
I tell you, there's times when you're the guy who's running that outside lane. When you get that run, I mean, you're dedicated to your outside lane, and I would rather just try to wait to get the outside again than cross it up and try to pass on the inside. If that's what's working, take it. Right now, very few drivers are using that lane. So there he is again. Connor getting the run. Not enough, but maybe he can send it on through. You can see the stack up to the inside lane, Zach Kerr, but just not enough that time through.
Three wide back there, looking at Alan Elwood, 5.
Alan Elwood has had a couple interesting moments here today. Saw him have a couple wiggles and off of the corners here. We haven't seen a lot of looseness moments, but he certainly had a few, but has been trudging through just fine. Jackson Hartman, Ben Pierce, Brad Slaughter, as that 19 of Hartman looking to squeeze a middle gap there, or maybe just going for some clean air. But Brad Slaughter, I think he was one of those drivers who was a wave around, I do believe. Yes, he was. So he's on those older tires by 2 laps, and then when you're a wave around, you have to start behind the lap down cars as far back in the field as you could physically get. So certainly not helping him. He should be probably top 15.
Yeah, him, Elwood, and Weissart, they were making their pit stops right when the yellow came out, so it really didn't help them at the moment. And hello, the 48 and the 7. Jeff Wright and James Skiley duking it out for the 8th position. Meanwhile, actually that's 9th. Opplinger is 11th, trying to get into the 10th position.
That ever so important top 10, which, of course, top 10, that's a stat. I mean, there's 2 positions that matter more. 10th matters and 5th matters, because that's a stat sheet statistic there, which for us numbers people, that means something. Or if I'm 6th, I want to finish 5th. Even if it's only 1 extra point, I want that extra stat on my SimRacer Hub column there. Here's Peyton Howell. He was one of those last to first challenge drivers, so to speak, had to start all the way in the back, and best opportunity he's had all race to eat into that and try to become in the top 5, and here's a good stab underneath Chilcutt.
Yeah, he was up to 6th at one point in this run, but faded a couple positions since we last looked at him, but doing a good job there. Nonetheless, he's still up a lot of positions since the start of the race, which is 33 positions to be exact.
That is basically 2/3 of the field there. So going back to mathematics, folks, we are now 13 laps into our run, and we are 43 laps to the end. So that would imply 56 laps to the end. I don't know if that's possible. Hopefully we can get a little addendum. I don't know if these guys can go 56 laps, so that would imply we're probably going to have another pit stop in this race. And even if they can do it on fuel, I almost wonder if they would try to split the gap purely from a tire perspective here. And with so few laps to go, maybe decisions already running through these drivers' heads.
Well, I think on a fuel run, 56 laps might be possible.
Okay. We didn't hear in the chat. He did tell us.
Tire-wise, it's not really gonna help.
He did say, Jacob did say here, in fact, I just read this now. He put it in 10 minutes ago, but I was on a different Discord. It would be max save mode to pit from here. And he imagines most drivers will probably pit around lap 100. But if you go max save, you can make it. But again, is the stopwatch even going to make that worth it?
Well, we could get another yellow. It's possible now.
Yeah, I mean, cautions breed cautions, as the old adage says. There goes Chilcutt all the way to the top of the track, and Connor Horn and Peyton Howell. We still, as a kind of a race summary, so to speak, we do have 38 drivers on the lead lap. Casey Lakatis being the final of those, with Jared Skinner there, 37th and 38th. Nico Servideo, Jeremy Miller, Forrest Smith 1 lap down, and Forrest Smith, I think, just exiting the pits. Jonathan Evans 6 laps down, and then Philip Groner, of course, his day really never got started with those penalties, and we've only had 1 caution here in the 90 laps here at Miami. And if you like what you see this week, a hot, slick mile-and-a-half track, and unless Jacob decides to turn the lights on, we'll probably replicate this in very similar terms at Las Vegas next week, a triple header for area on PTR TV in Sin City.
Indeed. We'll have next week off due to Easter celebrations.
Okay. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Easter is this Sunday, so want to give everybody their time off.
And everybody email Jacob Bell at pretenddomain.com and tell him we don't want a night race at Las Vegas. Let's keep a nice hot slick track because we like this. We like this race, and we like these guys having to really, spread themselves out and have that off throttle time. But speaking of off throttle time, having to really go off throttle running down the deep inside lane there, Zach Carr. Jake Fisher, who's really never really had a presence in this race.
He's kind of been around 14th the entire race. Seems like wherever we look. Really hasn't gone anywhere. He's kept it clean. Stayed out of harm's way, just biding his time, I guess, to try and generate a good run for a good finish here. Again, we could see under these next green flag pit stops, presumably we get that. Miscues, like trying to enter on pit road and then spinning out or speeding, oversliding your pit box. That's another huge issue for these guys. So we'll have to see what all pans out here as Connor Horn and James Skiley go at it for the 9th position.
And Connor Horn getting his fair share of TV time here today, battling here, getting in the top 10 and kind of one of those few running that outside lane. It seems like that outside lane just doesn't seem to work as well here as I would have expected. But again, that's usually a setup thing. Certain setups prefer certain lines, and I think that's why we're seeing so much off throttle time, is how much they're having to slow down to run that ideal line on the bottom of the racetrack. But again, going up front, Sebastian Marin just inching away, just inching. Last time by, he was only 3/100ths of a second faster. But as I've said all race, it doesn't matter if it's 3/100ths or 3/10ths. If you're faster over enough laps, it will turn into a tangible gap, as it has once before.
Yeah, look at that. A second and a half of fall off already, so these guys already starting to put a good bit of wear and tear into their tires for the meantime. Alex Chilcutt and Peyton Howell again going at it for position. Actually, this is Chilcutt and Zach Kerr. My apologies.
Easy mistake to make here, almost as if we're in an F1 race with team liveries here. Or liveries, and I'm sorry, they're paint schemes here. We're in America. If you watched this last season, that's one of my favorite lines to do. Another line that I like to do. Wait, I did all the sponsor plugs already. Wow, go me. All right, never mind. That was I just segued myself into a sponsor plug line, and I don't have one. So ellipsis. But Drew Farnow's down to the inside of the 84 of Jake Fisher. Just talked about him. They're not really going the ideal way. Zach Carr, not to be confused with Zach Kerr, who, again, one of them's from Australia and one of them is not. And off the top of my head, I'm going to guess that it's Zach Carr. Nope, it's not him. It's Zach Kerr. Darn it. But Zach Kerr, one Pro Series win at Rockingham. I don't think Rockingham is on the schedule this season, but I could be wrong.
I will go ahead and confirm that for you.
It is on the schedule. In May 7th, so not too far ahead. He'll go for his second career area win there. Of course, the Rock.
One thing I'm noticing, a lot of these guys, they're sticking to the bottom. Not too many people are venturing towards that Larson line on the outside lane, but saw the 60 at Chilcutt look to the middle lane for the most part, but I think these guys are really buying their time with Tyler. Not trying to do too much.
Sideways in the pits, Jared Skinner. He went to the Travis Beckner School of Pitting. I think these drivers, because of how tight this setup appears to be, I think they have a lot of rear brake cranked into it. So when they go into the pits, the rear end just goes right around on them once they put some hard brake pressure on it. That's basically what got Beckner, and that's what's just what got Skinner.
Oh, Pacioli and Fisher are close to making contact. They might have made a little bit of contact coming out of turn 4 there.
Hard Nose Racing, Gabe Herschel there, and then the aforementioned Travis Beckner, and said the high line doesn't work. Hold my beverage of choice, because Beckner's going to go up there, go down the hill, try to get a run. He's going to have a run. I think he's going to transfer that run right to Gabe Herschel there, as they will say sayonara to Pacioli, but Pacioli's not backing off just yet, and I think we're going to squeeze ourselves a 3 wide here. This is for 18th or so position.
Yeah, Travis Beckner doing a pretty good job. The 07 smacking the wall down the straightaway, so put a little fear in that 07. That's right outside the top 15. Meanwhile, this is inside the top 15. 13th and 14th. Stavato on the outside with Fahrenars on the inside.
Good battle in here, and saw another 609 car peeling out in the back of the pack there. Just trying to find some guys we haven't really talked about here this evening. Donald Height, Diego Sainz. Diego was the only driver to have a penalty to start the race. End of line, running decently, nice and smooth run. Going else, what do we got going on? We just showed this battle, but they're still going at it. Farnaz and Stravato, and it looks as though that 20 will clear. And back up front, again, not much to be had. Sebastian has hit that 1 second mark, and per what we were told, pit stops may become plentiful here. Drivers choosing to split the race here. We've been out for 27. We got 28 to go.
Yeah, we're nearing the range for guys to come down pit road, because if you stay out a little bit too long, you don't want to give yourself not enough time to use your tires while you can. So in the meantime, we'll continue to watch battles go on and on as Zach Kerr sitting comfortable in the 6th position. Seems like him and Choka, they've been around this spot pretty much the entire race. Payne Howell sitting right there in 7th, closing in. In the back, I saw Jeff Wright was door-to-door with somebody. I think Jeremy Miller actually is down. He went down pit road because he is inside this top 10 of cars here, but not up on the leaderboard.
14 laps ago for Jeremy, so that would be, yeah, so he basically pit, I think, at maybe with a 40 to go, and is trying to take advantage of something. And luckily for him, I mean, he still does have 1 extra set. Remember, we do have 4 sets basically across the board here in area. So best case scenario for him is that everybody else does pit, and we do have a caution, so to speak. Big wreck. Beckner on the front stretch. Herschel, Pacioli. Now, that is the worst case. I was just talking about the best case scenario for Jeremy Miller. That was the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, he won't get the lucky dog, but we'll have to see what brought out this yellow.
Herschel loose off of 4 and down into, I believe that was Beckner. We'll get one more look at it from Herschel's side. He was on the top of the racetrack here. There's Fisher. He's on the top. Yeah, just down into Beckner there. Pacioli, who is that? Couldn't make out that blue car. The 1 of Hunter. 47 to Housden. About a 5-car wreck, essentially, here. And now we have doubled our caution trend here. This is 2. So go down in area history as the craziest Pro Series race in existence here, but this will give us the opportunity to put on the 3rd set of tires for most and the 4th set of tires for some.
Yeah, and season 7, the last yellow came out with 15 to go, so this one is around 20 to go. Miller is the free pass recipient, so he'll stay out and collect that. I think Connor Horn stayed out for real. That might have been him right behind, but we'll have to see who comes out of pit road here. I don't know if anyone's going to do 2 tires. I think we still got too many laps left for that to happen, but if you're towards the back, you might as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. so far, it appears everyone has stayed out unless they were a lap down. And, of course, they weren't eligible to pit. But 4 tires in field. We did see 2 tires win the race. Well, not actually, but nearly win the race on Tuesday. But that was on a very short stint to the end, and we'll still have about 23 laps to go. Mercurio trying to run through and not able to. But I guess if this does do anything, Hunter, it allows these drivers to push for, I mean, there's still going to be fall off. They're still going to be handling degradation. But they can push knowing it's only about 23 laps. And maybe if someone feels comfortable in the short run, that'll be enough where maybe Marin can get some kind of challenge here.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Trying to look through, see who I think could go toe-to-toe. I mean, Mercurio's been pretty quick. Jake Nichols has been top 5. Bolton as well. Chilcutt, Kerr, right? Top 10 really hasn't changed much. So Connor Horn, he did not stay out. That was probably another lap car that stayed out, but Jeremy Miller is going to be back on the lead lap, so he will have an opportunity to at least finish on the lead lap, so we'll still have that going for him, but he needed that run to go green in order for it to work out for him.
And he chose to stay out. As the lucky dog car, you do have the eligibility to pit. Now, mind you, you're going to be at the end of the field anyways, but I think, now he's 19 laps on his tires, so he's still out to lunch right now, but my logic, I guess, is he expects there to be another caution, and I think he wants to have that set of tires for a super run to the finish. So he's going to need another caution because he is going to absolutely be tanking it. And again, this race just not going his way. But Mercurio is going to be in second. Remember, we saw Philip Groner, the outside car on the initial start, get a black flag. So Mercurio, you got to be careful up there, but you got to be aggressive enough to make Sebastian sweat a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if Mercurio can go on this outside lane. It really hasn't been going a whole lot this week, but we'll find out here as the pace car heads down to pit road. Sebastian Marin going to lead the field back to the green flag. Going to be 23 laps to go when we cross the stripe.
And that did not go the way Mercurio wanted. He will fall into the clutches, and are we going to be 3 wide? Very nearly there, bolted in that bright green car, looking to the outside lane. Nichols clears for second, and now Chilcutt. Now we're 4 wide. Contact there, good save. 60 into the 66, manages to hang on to it. A ton of track position loss, but for the time being, we carry on.
Yeah, that was nearly disastrous there, and could be right here. The 77 is Stravato, and Faurenar's in the 20. Close to touching there. They're almost 4 wide coming out of turn 4, but still close quarters racing inside the top 10.
Yeah, they're fanning out more on the corners than they are in the straightaways. Still 3 wide. 20 in the middle. That 96 of Opplinger, which is, look at, he was just peaking, and luckily chose to make the intelligent move to not go 4 wide, but now he's going to cross down to the bottom of the track and get underneath Chilcutt. And for those drivers who need a caution, here's your chance right here. But these drivers are highly skilled, and they can drive through this, but the problem, Hunter, is if a caution comes out, you don't want to be in it.
No, you don't want to be a part of it, but you want to benefit from it, so you got to find the fine line whenever you're close like this. Alan Elwood on the outside lane going to get a 2-for-1 there. So Elwood closing in on a top 10. The 96 and the 20 going to drop back a couple of positions. And Jake Fisher, once again, finding himself near the top 15. Or actually, he's in the top 15, near 14th at the moment.
As David Weishart, really haven't talked about him too much. And as Brad Slaughter.
Staying on the front stretch. Looked like someone thought they were clear. I think that was Pacioli in the 86 that went around and didn't fully spin, but holy cow, that could have been worse.
Yeah. And there we go.
Oh, it is worse.
Steve Durham around 71. Josh Parrish. There's Pacioli again. Like to think he blew a tire the way that it worked out. He just multiple issues in short sequence here for Pacioli. Let's try to figure something out here. 71. Oh, contact. I'm not trying to quote Taylor Swift, but is there bad blood there?
Might want to back it up to the exit of turn 4. I think that these two were the ones that collided on the front stretch.
So we'll just let this play through here. Now, why would the 71 be mad at Pacioli? He's the one that got into him. Make it make sense, Hunter.
I can think of possibly the reason why. So I think the 71 believes that him hitting the wall is because of the 86 for some reason. I think he moved up and really didn't need to and just took his frustration out on them. But it's going to make Jacob Bell a lot busier. So we'll be seeing him after the race, I guess, because he'll have to sort that out. But in the meantime, pit road is open for anyone that wants to come down and take any tires that they may have remaining, and we'll get at least one driver to do so.
That should be Jeremy. Oh, there's a couple peeling on in, but I expect Jeremy Miller. Yep, he will. Now, this is going to most likely be all of those wave-around cars. This is their chance to get back in it, even if you're not a wave-around car. You're 5-6 laps into the run, 2-3 laps hard on those green flag racing. I mean, 2-3 laps of green flag racing, that's still a couple tenths on it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like the perfect opportunity for those that are coming in and pitting. They're towards the back. If this goes green to the end, it'll be perfect for them. They'll have enough laps to wear their new tires out, and they might be old, but they won't be as old as those that stayed out.
Absolutely. As those drivers exit, there is Lakatos there. There's Miller, Forrest Smith. I mean, probably the biggest name is Pacioli. No one of who's been up front, no risky calls there in that capacity. Marin. Now this is interesting. He's down to the apron. Now you can see on some of the shots here, in our cameras here, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. All the aprons down there on the marbles. There's a lot of aprons down. All the marbles down there on the apron. But most tracks, most of the time, the marbles will build up at the top. But of course, we're running the top, so the marbles' gravity takes them to the bottom. So Marin just put the marbles on his tires, but maybe that's a track cooling type thing. I'm not quite sure, but I'll stop talking because I'm getting my words out of order.
No, I get what you mean. Usually we'll see the marbles, they'll move up to the outside lane because that's usually the lane that is not used at certain tracks. But this is unlike any other track. So the outside lane, middle lane, bottom lane, they're all used up. So the marbles got to go somewhere. They might go outside the track, but most of them, they'll lie on that bottom, right on the apron. So not really sure if that's going to help during the race, but kind of get some clean rubber, I guess.
And you cool the tires down, which I think is the goal to it. Cool them down and then just scrub the marbles off and maybe end up at a better spot than you were prior here. But we're coming into crunch time here after another caution. I think this is the third one on the day here as Jake Nichols trying to get a better jump than he got on the prior restart. But Mercurio wants to be able to pounce. You have Jeff Wright. You have Peyton Howell. Big comeback. Now is his chance to shine here. Green flag back in the air. Can Nichols clear for second? I don't know. I think Mercurio's too close. But actually, here comes Peyton Howell splitting the gap.
Yeah, almost looking 4 wide there with the 41 of Bolton and the 48 of Jeff Wright, but they'll be 3 wide out of 2 for the meantime. Nichols with a strong run towards the bumper of Sebastian Marin. And the top 5 still up for grabs. Wright going to send it in, and Bolton flirting with that, and the 52 of Peyton Howell.
Good. Peyton was one of the ones who didn't qualify, started all the way in the back of the field, and I mean, at this point, you just have to be happy with the top 5. You want more, you see more, but, take advantage of what's in front of you. But what's in front of Mercurio and Nichols now is Sebastian Marin, who has underwent 0 challenge today. The only laps he has not led were during pit stop cycles. Other than that, this is as close to a perfect race as one can drive, but he also did that same thing in the Truck Series race, and he didn't take home the trophy, but 14 laps to go. It's looking in his favor, but we do see some spice forming behind.
Yeah, this is outside the top 10. We got a number of drivers. Jake Fisher,
Caution.
Opplinger, Conrath. Well, caution's out for
Ryan Housden, the 47. Instantly pulls it into the pits there.
all right.
So we'll see what happened to Ryan. And wrecked on the straightaway, which is not very common.
Wow. That was a bad hit.
15. Oh, he got right reared by the 88 of Shackelford there.
There were a number of things going on in that one.
I'll get one more look
like
at it.
In front of them, they were making contact. The 15 and the 31.
I'll go from our top-down perspective. 15, 65, yeah, the 65 and the 31, and then ultimately the 88, so... And somebody missed it by a whisker there down to the inside. I think that was Steve Durham. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. Somebody there had a really close endeavor there, but this will put us in a window where we should go with about 10 laps to go. And I don't know. There's a set of tires on the wall for most of the field. I think as we all, that old adage, I think your bet is made at this point. Even with the fall off, I don't think that you can risk those fresh tires unless you're well in the back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to have them for any other time after the race, so you might as well use what you got. Trying to look at who would be the lucky dog. I think it is Nico Savridio, the 18.
Yeah, he's one of the only recipients that could be, as long as he wasn't involved in the caution. Are a bunch of takers in the pits towards the back of the field. You see Beckner, you see Josh Paris, Pacioli, Ben Pierce, amongst a myriad of others. Chilcutt, who he was running maybe 7th to 12th for the most part. He's had a good race. And I guess we'll find out who is going to be the last one on old tires and the first one on the new ones. We'll see how the scoring shuffles out here momentarily.
Yeah, looking like the top, what is that, the top 28 have stayed out. Everybody else behind him pitting.
Let's see, 13 laps, and then you have John Hall, who's 6. So the first one to pit on this sequence, Chilcutt back there in 29th. So we have super new tires in 29th, sort of fresh tires in 17th, and then the eldest of tires, which aren't even that old, basically our top 13.
Yeah, Conrath, though, only 6 laps on his tires, making his way towards the top 10. I think we'll get the one to go this time through, so it'll be 10 to go when we go back green.
Yep, there we go. We got our indication there, so we're back at it. Again, we do a couple games here on PTR TV. Usually it's the caution count. Let's do the lap sled count. Throw a number out, Hunter. You know I have no way to know because I didn't pull the graphic up. How much has Marin been in front? We're 120 laps in.
I will say 108.
I'm going to go 94 only because I think the green flag cycles were a long time. Let's see. Wow. All right.
Oh.
Well, Price is Right style, I won, but closeness, you won. So all but 15 laps led. If you could pull the perfect race off, that'd be 100. And that'd be a number that I've already forgot, but it'd be a lot. But let's go to our restart box. 10 laps to go. Will we fire off? We got different tire strats through the field and someone who has just made no wrong moves this entire race. Coming off a 4, pace car is in. Marin getting ready to get this thing underway on the loud pedal. There's the whole shot. He's out and gone.
Yeah, and then it turns into a battle for second at the moment. Nichols going to, shut the door on Peyton Howell, really. Elwood really jumping up to that outside lane. He's going to try and he's in the top 10 already. He's looking to get himself a top 5 finish.
Yeah, that would be pretty impressive if he can. And I just saw I think that was Jake Fisher in the 14, really loose there in the middle of the corner. But here's Jeff Wright in the middle of what was a 3 wide, down to 2. Jeff Wright in 6th, knocking on the door of that top 5. And, I mean, he's right there, so it's right in his grasp. 41 of Bolton and Peyton Howell just in front. But up front, 3/10 to Marin, battles for 2nd.
Yeah, it's looking like, oh, there's contact made back there. One car is squirrely. Not sure who that was, but it was that gray car that just went past on the picture. But kept it clean and green for the time being. Elwood is dropping outside the top 10 now. He clipped the wall through 1 and 2. Lost a little bit of ground, so going to have to try and work his way back inside the top 10. But Nichols hot on the tail of Sebastian Mayer. Mercurio to the outside, looking to get a run at the 73. Peyton Howell buying his time in 4th, and then back there we see Conrath again working his way through the top 10.
Tom Mercurio with that major low-high move that we've seen so many drivers use this race. Oh, someone really drove it on in there on the bottom of the racetrack. That was the 97 of Zach Kerr. I was almost certain he was going to make contact with the 20, but luckily did evade. That's Jeremy Miller going all the way down to the inside of the racetrack, taking advantage of those fresh tires. But we'll say that gap to the lead it's staying consistent, if not slightly decreasing. And I'm not trying to, create drama here. Last time by, just under half a tenth faster to Nichols.
And just a little bit. I mean, you're going to have to probably get into it if you want to have a good shot at winning. But this time through, Marin is a little bit faster. And, I mean, Jake Nichols isn't really known as a dirty driver. But Mercurio, he's not afraid to send it in. He might make contact himself.
I mean, he's just running that line. And, I mean, I almost want to hop out of the sim after this race and try it out myself, because I've just never seen that line. And it's obviously working decently well. It does appear that Jake is driving deeper into 3. Now, I said earlier in the race that it looked like Marin was driving in deeper than anybody else. Apparently the memo got out, as they are 3 wide in the back of the pack.
Oh,
and we're wrecking.
Shackelford to the inside wall. 5 laps left, and the yellow is out. So we'll have a green-white checker to sell this one at Homestead.
Absolutely not what was on the bingo card or the trend list here today, but that is where the cookie crumbled here. Let's try to take a look at what happened. Diego Sainz was involved as well. That's one of those who came up, who came down scenarios, and then he got punted for good measure.
Yeah, he's not going to be sitting pretty with the incident scores. That's his second cause of caution.
88 getting the trigger on that one from admin.
That's his second one of the race.
Casey Lakatos there had a really close maneuver to evade that. But yes, that'll put us in overtime. And Hunter, is this newfound territory on the old stat sheet?
Absolutely is. Well, a couple things actually. So this is the latest yellow in the race at Homestead, mentioned season 7. The last yellow to come out of that one was with 15 laps to go. This one with 5 to go. So this will be a green-white checker. I'm not sure if it'll be an unofficial green-white checker yet, but it'll be a green-white checker nonetheless. So we will see if anyone can dethrone Sebastian Marin. It's really about timing the jump. If you're on the outside lane, guys are just playing chicken, I guess. Elwood will come down and pit.
Yeah, nothing really to lose there from the mid-teens. A couple drivers further back. I think that might be Jake Fisher and a few others. But yes, this should put us in official green-white checker territory. We just took lap 128. So if we get the green on the one to go on 129, we'd finish it at exactly lap 130. So this will put us into our 1 of 3 opportunistic green-white checkers here in the Florida State Builders Pro Series, round number 2. Sebastian, I think he is taking cooler track over marbles, because he's going to try to run that apron there.
Yeah. Looking like Nichols is trying to replicate that. They will be towards the inside of the racetrack on the backstretch. Mercurio as well. They're picking up a little bit, so we'll see if it works out for them in the end. But Peyton Howell, I mean, a phenomenal race from him, up 37 spots since the start of the race. Phenomenal job from him. Josh Adams, I'm looking at him as well, plus 23 spots, sitting in the 14th position.
Great job there. And we do have our YouTube chat. Someone saying that thinks the 82 is going to steal the win here today. So, I mean, he will have the advantage of being able to time it with Marin. If he can stay close to Marin, I mean, maybe get Marin a little aero loose, but as tight as these cars seem to be, I think almost a little aero loose might work out to be an advantage on the that number 95. But we'll get doubled up, stacked up here. Still have 36 drivers on the lead lap. Pacioli being the last one, just trying to get whatever repairs he can, just manage however he can here as we'll take the green at lap 130.
It will be a green-white checker attempt. Sebastian Marin will be the control car on the inside lane. Once again, he will be firing off from the inside lane, and then Jake Nichols, it's a matter of when does he go, because we already saw in the beginning of the race you try to time it on the outside lane. Phil Groner tried to, and it derailed his entire race. So gonna have to find the fine line between that, because if you mess up here, it's gonna cost yourself a pretty good finish.
Absolutely. You want to make sure you get what you have, don't lose it, don't try to blow it going for more, because sometimes you see drivers overstep, take a 20th place car, finish second. But let's see what happens. Green flag in the air. They're already fanning on out. Marin will get the whole shot. Mercurio, if he's going to win, he needs to clear Nichols with relative ease, and Nichols is going to make sure that does not happen.
Look at Conrath on the outside, trying to navigate his way to a top 5 finish, potentially. Trying to get around Jeff Wright in the 48. He will. And it's going to be a door-to-door battle for a second now. Nichols trying to clear Mercurio. Howell going on the outside. Mercurio going to send it in. Howell will too. They stay clean for now. But up front, Sebastian Marin's going to come off turn 4. He sees the white flag waving. We're going to get a finish here at Homestead, Miami. One final lap, and someone's going to the inside wall.
Someone's all the way down there on the flat, but it will not affect the end of the race one way or another. But up front, Sebastian Marin just has not put a wheel off all race. Everything he has done has been gold tonight, getting that redemption from what he didn't get on Tuesday night. Our shop area, iRacing.com white flag coming through 3 and 4. As close to the perfect race as you can run. That M&M's-esque JS Toyota going to come off a 4, and as close to a hometown win as he can get. Marin wins in Miami.
And they fan out 4 wide across the stripe. It's another dominating effort for Sebastian Marin. 2 for 2 on the season in the Pro Series. Jake Nichols is going to come home with a runner-up finish, and in third will be Brian Mercurio.
Absolutely great run. Mercurio just got stuck side by side, but at the end of the day, I don't think it would have mattered anyways. Marin just had too much, and all these drivers just congratulating him. Final tally here for tonight's race, 117 of the 131 laps that 95 had in front. And the only reason he didn't lead them all was because of green flag stops. These drivers are going to have a challenge on their hands, Hunter, if they're going to take that 95 out of victory lane this season.
Yeah, he is he's the one that everybody needs to watch out for, especially if he's a full-time in the Pro Series, because this will be a masterclass of a season if that is the case. I mean, we're already 2 races into the season, but it's pretty clear who the favorite will be week in and week out.
Absolutely, but a lot of time left to go, and you never know what'll happen. But right now, we know who the money is on. But let's go start our post-race show. Give you the final rundown of results here today in the Florida State Builders Pro Series race number 2. Final margin of victory, 7/10. Sebastian Marin with the win over Jake Nichols. Brian Mercurio third. Peyton Howell get a great comeback here. Gained a lot of positions for 4th. Jeff Wright in 5th. Justin Bolton in 6th. John Hall, Garrett Conrath, Zach Kerr, and James Scioli just never really was the same for the second half of the race.
Yeah, and then coming up short of that top 10, Zach Carr, AJ Stravato, Connor Horn, Josh Adams, Jeremy Miller rounding out the top 15 with Justin Opplinger, Brad Slar, Alex Chilcutt, Alan Elwood, and Hunter Sr.
Now we head back on our next page of results. We have Drew Farnaz, Travis Beckner. Remember, he had that pit road issue. Lucas Lodoto, Forrest Smith, Jake Fisher. And then the rest of these drivers either just got caught through pit strategy or just had issues, and we'll let them all scroll on by. Timmy Pacioli, some issues in the race. And then, of course, Joseph Swan was the DMQ. Philip Groner really never got to race here today. Had those issues post-race. We got a 1-point incident penalty being assessed to the 19 as a post-race little note there. But Hunter, if you've managed to head down and do your Jamie Little, I think he's actually on the backstretch right now, so might have to run pretty quick. Actually, is he not here yet? He's not here yet, so we'll go to second place, and oh no, he is here. There he is. There's Sebastian for you.
Well, he's just doing a little bit of backwards driving in the meantime, doing his best toe mater after a dominating effort tonight. Sebastian, congrats on the win. Take us through what your thoughts were on the race, because it seemed like, for the most part, there was everyone behind you and not a lot of people in front of you.
Yeah, the race kind of played out pretty smoothly. Obviously, track position being pretty key, especially with the dirty air that these cars now have. The car kind of, built tight for most of the run, and then late run, it kind of lost a lot of rear grip. So managing the tires was pretty key, and I think just being in clean air played pretty good on that. So that kind of let me run away for a bit, and then we had that long green flag run. Obviously wanted it to go green, but I kind of expected at least a yellow, and it came. And yeah, once the yellow started coming out with the heat cycles and the cars picking up the rubber off the track, the car got even tighter. So it was pretty bad the first couple laps of a restart. So I felt pretty vulnerable, but I think I was doing a pretty good job kind of maintaining clean air over the cars behind, right, shutting off their air so they didn't get an advantage over me. And was able to capitalize with a great final restart. Kind of got P2 and P3 battling, which let me just get a nice buffer, and then after that it was just bring it home without a mistake.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the win, and will you be making it to the next race in Las Vegas? If this is a trend for 1.5 miles that we're going to see all season, I think you're going to be the one that everybody's got to keep their eye on. I think I'll be there next week. I really like Vegas. Obviously, being part-time, I'll be here every now and then. But the Vegas, I'll probably be there. I really like that track. So, alrighty, well, congrats on the win, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Vegas. We're off for Easter, so have a happy Easter as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too.
All right, now second place, Jake Nichols. We've got him up here. So Jake started 6th, ran 2nd, had some good battles, but ultimately Sebastian was just in another zip code here today. Were you able to kind of see where he found that speed and just where you weren't able to replicate it?
A little bit. I don't know. I just didn't feel too comfy here with how it drove tonight, but we were figuring it out. I think the strategy we were on in terms of pitting a little earlier was definitely the move. I didn't feel like it was really early. It was just earlier than what they ended up doing, but I don't think the guys like James and Brian would have got back to us in time to really make anything of it had the race stayed green. But we had a few chances at him there late on the few restarts. I wish the second to last one stayed green. We just got within 0.2 of him, and I do think if we get to his left rear, we have a shot. But then again, it's just a chance at that point. But the car was rolling really fast through the center, and if I could just get to his left rear once, I think we had a chance. But either way, the aftermarket coffee Chevrolet was fast, and we'll take a P2 for both weeks here. It's great points, and just trying to make the chase at the end of the day and rack up some team points early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Point stays are important here in this new chase format. Just quick question on I know you talked about how the car was driving. Just compared to what we saw in the next gen and what we saw in the trucks, it seemed like that bottom was just kind of overpowerful. We saw guys running the top, but it didn't seem to have that thrust it had in prior weeks. Was that the setup, you think, or is something with this car specifically here at Miami?
Probably a little bit of both. I love just going around ripping the Larson lane, but it kind of wasn't that good on Monday either. It was hit or miss. I don't know. I felt like what was fast wasn't what I was good at. Like, I'm just not good at that slider line turn one where you send it to the bottom and let it roll all the way to the wall. I tried it a few times, hit the wall. I'm pretty sure 3 out of the 4 times I tried it. But nothing crazy to hurt our car. But overall, we gave it a good shot, and as long as we get through these few weeks here, we should be a championship contender, and I think we'll be one anyways. But either way, everyone at Lucky Ducks Motorsports had a good race overall, and hopefully we just keep with the momentum and hopefully bring it to victory lane soon.
Absolutely. Got a week off, and we'll set for Vegas, man. Any final shout-outs or words you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, everyone at Lucky Ducks Motorsports, Aftermark Coffee, No Kid Hungry, Stand Up to Cancer, Tiltify. We got a bunch of partners on our car, and great organizations that do great things for people, and hopefully we can bring them in victory lane a few times. I'm usually a little slow to start each season. I feel like it takes me a little bit to really start going, and then once we do, we find victory lane a few times. So it's nice to rack up some P2s, and hopefully soon, second place will turn into first place, and many of them. So we'll see, and hopefully we put on some more great races in the future.
Absolutely, Dick. I'd rather be hot late than early. So if that's the trend, I think you'll be one to battle for. So we'll see you later.
Thank you.
And then to wrap up our podium, Hunter has Brian Mercurio for third place.
Yeah, solid third place finish from you tonight, Brian. Had a pretty good run going, and take us through your thoughts on the restarts of the race, because I didn't even think we would have restarts to begin with. This race goes pretty clean and green for the most part, but it seemed like if you were on the outside lane, you were struggling to get going. And I mean, it's been like that all week. The outside lane just hasn't been going. So take me through your thoughts on how you had to process those restarts laying to going.
Yeah, I mean, even on fresh tires, we were getting a lot of wheel spin, so once we had those late cautions, I knew it was going to be tough to get traction and get a good launch. Tires go through heat cycles, and there's all this stuff with picking up rubber now, so it's like there's a lot of things to consider, and we had a hot track here, so it was just tough for traction overall. I had that one bad restart when I was in second, and then I lost track position to Jake, and then was hoping maybe I could get it back on ensuing restarts once I shuffled back to third, but couldn't quite do it. It's real tough to make position. You could hold position pretty well, but it's tough to make up position when you're running on the bottom. So tough overall, but this is the kind of challenges here, especially coming over from racing the truck in the area last season. We're in the O'Reilly car with a little more power under the hood.
Well, coming in 2 weeks' time, we'll be going to Las Vegas. Is this accurate depiction of what we could see? A possible win here and another chance to return to the podium. It seems like mile and a halfs are a pretty good track for you.
Yeah, I've been learning a lot about here, about the B car, ever since it got updated with the new build. We got a bunch of new aero stuff going on, so Vegas is going to be, I think, definitely a little more chaotic. The draft's quite a bit stronger in this car now, so we're all going to be close to each other, fighting for dirty air, trying to get as much clean air on the nose as you can, and Vegas you can move around a lot too, so I'm expecting that to be a pretty good race. Homestead's usually one of the if you want to call it kind of the litmus test for a lot of guys' pace, one of the toughest tracks on the service, so running well here is always a good confidence booster, and unfortunately Vegas hasn't really been too kind to me, either if I race officials or through eNASCAR or league races or anything, so hoping for a little more luck when we go there in 2 weeks.
Well, that top 3 finish was going to put you inside the top 10 in the point standings. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Congrats on the third place, Brad.
If you guys don't mind, just real quick, I want to give a few shouts. Thank you to you guys, everybody at PTR TV for putting on the broadcast. All the guys at Area, who run behind the scenes, all the admins. Appreciate them kicking off the new season for 2026 here. Had a bunch of fun racing for the first time last year, so glad to be back for 2026 here. Everybody who supports us and all our partners at Coast to Coast Racing, What's on Tap, Chinchor Electric, Danis Utilities, Moras.live, Far Filaments, Paul Fod Racing, ShopPrestonPartis.com, Sebeka Bail Bonds, Outlaw Light, and Lockdown.
All right, well, that'll wrap things up. Ryan, we'll catch you in a few weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you died on me there, Hunter.
No, things are getting loud over here.
All right, it's all gravy here, but either way, that'll wrap things up. Any final words before we call it a night here?
It was a pretty good race. Did not expect the yellows, so I will have to tally those up and see what the average is after this one's all said and done. But we do get a green, white checker finish, the first of our kind here in the Pro Series at Homestead, and another dominating effort from Sebastian Marin. I'm not sure what the final total was for his lap slot. I actually have it right here. 117. He led 117 laps tonight. Just a staggering amount. He did say part-time. If he was full-time, he would be locked in as the champion, I think.
Yeah, basically.
Because he's on pace to win every race and lead the most laps in every race this season.
Literally across every single series as well. That's the dangerous thing. So luckily for them, he's part-time as he has his upper echelon endeavors here across the iRacing service. But again, if you're still watching at this point in the broadcast, again, we thank you for doing that. Hit the like and subscribe button here on PTR TV. If you're watching on Twitch, consider subscribing. $5 a month, get all your goodies over there. And stay tuned for our next broadcast. We will be live with our other leagues on next week. We have Sunday and Wednesday, and then the following week is area returning post-Easter break. But that's going to be Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth. Have a good night, and we'll catch you next time.